Hey, students and parents, probably mostly parents. My name is Ryan. I'm the student pastor here at Beach. I want to give you the long-awaited information on summer trips for 2022. Please forgive us as we kind of navigate doing trips again in COVID world and trying to figure out what's going on and when it's going on and all that kind of stuff. We're getting this information to you a little bit later than usual, but hopefully still in time for you guys to be a part of our summer trips. I'm going to keep this as brief as possible. I want to give you the information on all of our trips as we know it today and the next steps for signing up and all of that. So stick with me. If you're on YouTube, put me on 1.5 speed if you want to get through this quicker. Although I got to warn you, it's going to be really fast if you do that. Summer's a big deal for this student ministry. Summer is a time where we don't meet for life groups and United because we have a ton of trips. And we do those trips because they bring relationships together in a major way. They build discipleship and disciple our students and bring them closer to Jesus. And they allow us to live out our faith on mission trips. And sometimes more growth can happen in 1 week than the rest of the year combined. And so I want to go over the 4 trips we're doing this summer, or planning to do this summer, and give you some information on them and tell you a little bit about them, and then I'll tell you next steps at the end of this video. First off, I want to start with camp. It's not the first trip, but I do want to start with it because it's different than the other trips. Camp, we go to Passion Camp in Daytona Beach, Florida. We stay at an oceanfront hotel, and we spend our time worshiping in life groups, hanging out, building relationships. Camp is open for all 6th through 12th graders, and our hope is to use camp to grow closer to Jesus and build relationships within our group that carry over into the year. And so every day, we'll spend the morning and the afternoon or the evening in worship. We'll have life groups with our leaders and our students together so that who they meet at camp, they'll go home with and they'll still be able to hang out with during the year. And so it's really, even though it's a huge event with thousands of kids, it is very, very helpful for just Beach students to get to know each other, to build relationships, to connect our students with this ministry so that they can stay engaged. Passion Camp is happening July 11th through 15th. It's $550. That includes everything, transportation down there, the hotel, food, all that kind of stuff. $200 non-refundable deposit will be due at registration, and then the remaining balance will be due about a month before the trip. Again, we do worship, small groups, hang out at the beach, have a great time together, build those relationships. This is a great connect event. This is a great event for students to invite their friends to, kind of like Epworth. Again, open for all middle schoolers and high schoolers. And the registration deadline for this is June 1st. And yeah, I think that's all you really need to know about that. We take buses down there or vans down there. We'll stay together in the same hotel. It'll include food, life groups, worship, all that kind of stuff. So that's Passion Camp, and we're super excited about that. We started going there last year, and it was an amazing, amazing time for our students. We have 50 spots for that, 50 spots. So yeah, that's our camp experience. The rest of our trips are mission trips. So this is our chance on mission trips to put our faith in action, for our students to take what they've learned during the year and to put it into action by living it out. We believe that certain parts of Jesus are only experienced when you actually do what he says, not just from reading or worshiping or talking about him, but actually doing what he says. And so we send all students of all ages on mission trips. The first one, which is really our first trip of the summer, is Albany. We've been going to Albany for like 12, 13 years. This is for our 6th through 8th graders. And our hope is to equip and unleash our middle schoolers to serve and share the love of Jesus. Albany is going June 5th through June 10th. It's a little bit earlier this year, and so we are doing it the week before kids camp. So that's a lot different than it's been in past years. So because of that, kids won't have to do kids camp in order to go on this trip. But June 5th through 10th, the cost is going to be $400, $200 non-refundable deposit upon registration, and then $200 more will be due a few weeks before we leave, May 15th. We go to Albany, Georgia. That's not Albany, New York. Albany, Georgia, a few hours away. We stay at a little retreat center called Camp Kirksey. Again, open to all 6th through 8th graders. There's 2 mandatory training meetings, one on May 11th, one on June 1st, both 5 to 7, where we prepare them. These are really, really important. especially since we're not doing kids camp as a preparation this year. These 2 meetings are what build the team cohesion. Even if they've been before, they don't know everybody on the trip. This really prepares them to serve and do everything they need to do. And so it's super important that if they're signing up for the trip, they understand, and you understand, they need to be at those 2 mandatory meetings, May 11th and June 1st, 5 to 7 p.m. And this is where we are going to teach them how to be missionaries, teach them and prepare them to serve on that trip, because it's not just about the trip they sign up for, it's also about the preparation to go on that trip. Think of it as the practice before the game. The practices are mandatory, and so we'll have those 2 mandatory meetings or trainings, and the registration deadline for this trip will be May 10th. And if you're furiously writing right now, just so you know, all of this information is on our website. I'll give you that link at the end. So that's our Albany mission trip. We take vans up there. We stay at this little campsite with, it's not a camp. It's we're not in tents. We're in buildings, and we have a cafeteria. We make all our own food. We do worship at night. We do devos in the morning. We have all our meals together. We have a lot of hang time together, a lot of fun, lots of games. And then during the day, we're going out and we're serving in the community. We partner with Albany city government, and we do tons of projects to help the neighbors in Albany, Georgia. And so that's what that trip's all about. This is a great way for your middle schooler to get to know other students, to get plugged into a life group, and to grow in their faith. And so many students have been impacted by this trip, and I would highly encourage you to send your student to that trip. Once again, that's going to be June 5th through 10th, earlier than usual, prior to kids camp, and that'll be $400. And again, all this information is on our website. Second mission trip is Jamaica. This is only for our high schooler students, and everything I'm going to say right now is still a bit tentative. We are trying to go. We want to go. We are planning to go, but everything's kind of tentative right now, and we won't be nailed down for a couple more weeks, but we wanted to go ahead and get the information to you. We've been going to Jamaica for 20 years. I've gone almost every trip except when I had my first child. And so I've been down there a bunch of times. We work with a pastor down there named Pastor Wayne. I've known him, again, for 20 years. We partner with churches and schools down there. We go to the same communities every year. We do kids camp in the morning. In the afternoons, we do young adult ministry in small groups and hanging out, playing games, doing crafts, and getting to know each other. Really, the whole deal is that we build relationships with the young people of Jamaica through large and small groups, kids camp, and small groups in the afternoon. We have our meals together. We stay at a college in Jamaica, up in the mountains of Jamaica, called Monique College, in dorms there. We get all our meals there at the cafeteria. And we fly down there out of Orlando, down to Montego Bay. We drive over to Monique College. We stay there all week, and that's kind of our center base for going out doing missions every day. This trip's going to be July 24th through July 31st. July 24th through July 31st. Once we're down there, we take buses everywhere. Same drivers we've had for years and years. They're great. And in the mornings, same thing as Albany. We do devos, then we go and work all day, come back for lunch, and then we work some more. And the work just looks a little bit different than Albany. And then we have dinner at night, hang time, build relationships. We have worship. We go to bed and we start over the next day. It's an amazing, amazing time. We've seen so much fruit from this trip. So many Jamaicans come to know Jesus, so many relationships, and so many of our students have grown closer to God in their relationships, or in their relationship with God, and it just changes so many lives. I can't describe to you the life change that happens on this trip for your student. And so here's the thing about Jamaica. It's expensive, and because of inflation, because of flight costs, because of some COVID stuff that we have to deal with at this point, it is even more expensive. Right now, we're projecting $1,700 to $1,800. It may be a little bit cheaper, shouldn't be any more than $1,800. What we would require is a $500 deposit up front, and then 2 subsequent payments would be due on May 15th and June 15th. Again, we stay in Monique College. We serve in the local schools and with our serve partners and serve partner churches. This is open to all high schoolers, 9th through 12th graders, currently 9th through 12th graders. The requirement for this trip is that they are a part of Kids Camp at Beach Church, June 13th through 17th. That is a requirement because every single student on this trip will be leading a kids camp in Jamaica, and they need to know how to do it. Also, we believe that they need to be serving at home before they go abroad. We're not going to send a bunch of kids to another country to serve when they won't serve in their own community, and so we're going to serve here at Beach Church as well. So that's a mandatory part of going on this trip. There's also 2 training meetings for this trip as well. There'll be June 15th from 1 to 3. That'll be on the week of kids camp. And then July 20th from 5 to 7. The registration deadline for this one, June 1st. Again, all this information is on our website. Here is the important stuff to know about Jamaica. Let me pull up this information. We aren't sure of what COVID will look like there, obviously, in the summer. But here's what we know right now. As of March 1st, which has already happened, Jamaica removed their travel authorization requirements and their movement restrictions within their nation. There's no additional government paperwork to go. There's no quarantine once you get there. There's no vaccination mandate to travel. Schools are fully open in Jamaica. Tourism is fully open in Jamaica. Buses are fully available with no restrictions. At this point, you have to test 72 hours before you leave and 72 hours before you leave Jamaica. And so on the front end, you'd have to get tested before we left here. And then on the way back, we would get tested. Someone would come and test all of our people at the college where we're staying. And so that would be an additional cost, which is included in the price I gave you. But that's one of the reasons why it's a little bit higher. In addition to that, we have to get trip insurance. That's another reason why the cost is a little bit higher this year, in addition to just higher airfare and higher costs for everything. There's a possibility this testing requirement will be gone by July, but we have to prepare as if it's going to be there. We have a full plan if a student or an adult were to test positive in Jamaica and have to quarantine. We have a male and female staff member who could stay with male or female students. We have a location called Honey Bay, which is a little hotel where we stayed for years and years on these mission trips before we stayed at the college. We trust the owners. We know the owners. They also have food there and everything. That's a good, safe, comfortable place to quarantine. And the quarantine would only be 5 days at the most at this point. But again, we don't even know if that's going to be a necessity by the time we get to the summer. And just so you know, if someone were to get sick, we can easily quarantine students at the college. Basically, everything in Jamaica is open air, which is helpful as well. We have a private doctor 10 minutes away that we've used before that's great, named Dr. McCoy. There's a main regional hospital 30 minutes away in St. Anne's Bay, the St. Anne's Bay Regional Hospital, which has tons of resources. And we also can have a private doctor come to the college if necessary. We're going to get a little bit more information about this trip as we go. We know of a mission trip, a college mission trip that's happening in the next couple weeks that is using Pastor Wayne, our connection. And so he's going to be able to get some more information on how everything went. But they're taking a huge group there next week. And so that's going to help us determine what we will need and everything that's going on with this trip. Here's what we need you to know for this trip. And this is where it's really important to understand something. Before we open up registration for this trip officially, we are going to ask you if you're interested in it, if you think you would probably go if we went, to go fill out this interest form. You can go to tiny.cc/summertrips22. And that link is also below this video. Click on that and you'll see a link underneath the Jamaica trip that is live when this video goes out. Click on that. Just fill out that form. You don't have to pay anything. This is just going to help us keep track of who would plan on going, provided that we go to Jamaica. And that's just a part of us gauging interest, figuring out, can we make this work? Can we go this year? And we should know all of this within the next couple of weeks. So it's not going to be a super long-term thing. Last trip is the Jack's Mission Trip. This is for all 6th through 12th graders. We do it locally. We've been doing it for 7 years. We serve in our community. Our hope is to show the love of Jesus to our own community and before the beaches. And we partner with Fletcher Middle, Fletcher High, USO, Beam, and some local ministries. And we just serve our neighbors around the beaches community doing yard work and all that kind of stuff. And we stay at the Salt Air Inn and Suites, which is brand new, just opened. A friend of ours owns it and runs it, so we're going to be renting that out and using that that week. And great food, great time. We'll have 3 days of serving. The last day we'll have kind of a fun, relaxing day. This is going to be August 9th through August 12th. It's the week before they go back to school. The cost for this is $275, $100 deposit due at registration. Again, it's in Atlantic Beach. Everything's here, but it is an overnight trip. We treat it just like any other mission trip. And so that's why we get away. We still have devos in the morning, worship at night. We're together building those relationships. And we do have one training for this, July 19th, 5 to 7 in Block 84. And the registration deadline for this is July 15th. And so that's the information on the Jack's trip. Students can do, really, they could do camp and a mission trip and 2 mission trips if they wanted to. The only really restriction is that only middle schoolers can go on Albany, only high schoolers can go on Jamaica. Both camp and Jacks are open to 6th through 12th graders. So here's the process. Here's the next steps. You're getting this, and it's spring break. It should be Monday, March, I think, 13th. I'm thinking forward to the future. 11th, 12th. It's going to be the 14th when you get this email. And this video at the earliest. And so sign-ups for all of our summer trips will open on Sunday, March 20th. Sunday, March 20th at 8 p.m. right after United is over. So all of the trips will open that day, Sunday, March 20th at 8 p.m. You will go to tiny.cc/summertrips22. There's only one link because that takes you to a link, or takes you to a page with all of the information, all of the links that you need to go to sign up for any trip. And so the info is all there right now. You can go to that website right now, click on the link below, check out all this information that we've been talking about. Just so you know, the one link that is alive right now is the interest link for Jamaica. This does not sign you up for Jamaica. You will spend no money. Just fill out the form so that we know who wants to go to Jamaica. And all the other links will go live on March 20th at 8 p.m. These trips are open to any students. 6th through 12th grade. Just keep in mind there's a difference between camp and mission trips. Camp is for our students. It's for them to grow closer to Jesus, have fun, meet other people. It's like an Epworth in that it is a retreat where they grow. All the mission trips are not for our students. Our students grow, they have relationships, but it is for the people we're going to serve. We are going on a mission to share the love of Jesus. And so it's just important to have that expectation that the mission trip is going to look a little bit different. It's not going to be as glamorous and as nice as a camp or an Epworth, and there's going to be a lot of work and serving, but that's where we really, really grow closer to Jesus. And mission trips changed my life when I started going on them in high school. I wish I had gone on them in middle school. So send your middle schoolers if you're not planning on it at this point. There will be no other meetings for these trips outside of our trainings. Once you've signed up for the trips, there's not going to be any expectation meetings like we've had in the past, no other information meetings. That's why we're sending out this video. Feel free to forward this video to anyone you know, share it with anyone you know who has questions about summer trips. And so, again, all you really need to know is go to tiny.cc/summertrips22. You can see all the information there. Sign up goes live at that link March 20th at 8 p.m. And the rest you can take from there. At the bottom of that page will be a contact email for Kendall Russ. She handles all our trips. And so if you have any questions, just email her and she will get back to you. And that is all. And we're so thankful that you watched it. And hopefully it was helpful for you. Once again, go to the link. Trips open March 20th, 8 p.m. And if you want to go to Jamaica, go ahead and fill out that interest form starting right now. Love you guys so much. Excited for this summer. Excited for all that's going to happen. Bye.